Okay, next we're going to do this. So here again we want the proportion delayed for each combination of these three variables. So you need to do an aggregate for three variables in the by list. Okay. And here we can use the same AGG like that, but your textbook for some reason has converted. Let me see where it is. So we're going to create a new column, is delay. So we want to set this to 1 if the flight is delayed and 0 if not. So this will be like the if else function. Okay, that's one way of doing it. If else the condition, so delay.df flight status, and you need to check whether it is delayed. So the operator is two equal signs, delayed. Okay, 1, otherwise 0. So run that and let's go and check that. So on time is 0. Let's look at delayed right here is 1. Okay. Now we can do the same thing in shorter code, and that would be, instead of doing if else, we can simply use this, and what R will do is it will evaluate this and then set it to 1 if it is delayed, and I'm sorry, set it to true if it is delayed and set it to false if it is on time. Now we want it as numeric values like 1 and 0. So if you multiply this by 1, that also will give you the same thing. So let's run this line and then go back and see, and you would see that they're all zeros. And let's look at one delayed. So there it is, 1. Okay. So once again, these are alternative ways. We could have just done exactly like how we did previously, but this is, we are following the textbook. So all right, once that is done, then we can do the AGG is aggregate. Okay, so we want delay.df is delay is the column that needs to be used for computing the aggregate function. Okay, and then we say the by is list, right? Okay. So by equal to list, and you specify the variables by which the observations must be grouped. So weekday, carrier, and origin. So delay day underscore week is one variable, and carrier, and third is origin. Okay, so that's the group by, and then the function we want is mean. Okay, so that mean of that column, the first the each delay column will be computed, and then we have to say what to do with missing values if there are any, and you want those missing values to be removed. So na.rm. Okay, so now you run that, and you go to AGG and you find the means. Okay, but the names are a little crazy, so let's name them. So names AGG, and let's assume that we want to name only the first three. So we say, okay, so I'm going to just copy paste from here and remove. So those are the names we want. Okay, the first one to be day week, the second one to be carrier, and the third one is origin. Okay, now if you run this code, we're going to get an error because there are 4 columns and you only specified 3, so there is no fourth one, so it's going to throw you an error. Now the way to deal with this is either you give a new name for the 4th column, which is what I would do, I think. But again, your textbook says, okay, let's specify the columns to which these 3 names should be applied. So if you did that, 1:3, then 3 names are sufficient. So that will get, and the 4th one will have the same name as before. So run that code, and you see these 3 names are changed. That one is still X. Okay, now let's run the ggplot. What we want to do is we want to generate a tile plot where each tile, the shade, the gray shade, the intensity of the gray shade is going to be based on the value of the mean, which is in the column X. So ggplot data equal to AGG, mapping equal to AES. Now X is day week. Okay, and we want that as a factor because otherwise you're not going to have your x-axis tick marks properly displayed. Now Y is carrier. Okay, and you want fill to use the value of X. And then do a plus, and then you so geom tile. Okay. Now when you run, so you get x-axis is day of the week, carrier, and only with these two the means are displayed here. Means are used for tile color. Okay, but you have a third one, which is the origin. So we're going to use what is called facet grid, and we will put origin against all other variables in the facet. So it will take origin, first value of origin, and all the other variables, day of the week and carrier. That will be in one facet grid. And another one, the next value of origin and the other variables and so on. Okay, so if you run that, so you see here one value of origin, another value of origin, another value of origin. So now for this origin, there are lots of airlines have no flights. So they are all missing values here, and so it's not displaying your tile plot properly. So what we need to do is to go back here to the grid, and then you need to specify a couple of things. Scales equal to free and space equal to free, and that will adjust scales equal to free and space equal to free. Okay, so now we have all the missing values are gone, so you get the first facet or first grid layer, the second plot and the third plot, they're all in one grid. Okay. Now we need to change a couple of things here. One is the color. If you want exactly like in the textbook, which is black and white gray shades, scale fill gradient. So scale fill gradient, and then you specify the lower end and the upper end, right? Low equal to white, okay, high equal to black. Run that, so you get that. Okay, so now it's starting to look more like what we have in the textbook, and we'll change the x-axis um, label and the tick marks. Okay, tick marks you want it to go Monday through Sunday. So X lab is day week, right? And then we need scale X discrete. So this is the reason why we needed the x-axis to be a factor. Scale X discrete, then scale X discrete, you should say labels equal to that weekday list. So those are the labels that must be used there. Run that, and there you go.